Everyone has gone through some difficulties in life, something we don't know how to handle at the moment. But nothing justifies abandoning your child. So, watch this story until the end, and then leave a comment below on what you would do in this situation. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're always bringing beautiful and touching stories for you. Let's hear the story. It was a sunny summer afternoon when Clara, with a heavy heart and a confused mind, made the hardest decision of her life. She was walking through the park, holding the hand of her son, Lucas, who was only 4 years old. Every step felt like an unbearable weight, but she knew she had no choice. Clara was trapped in a desperate situation, with no support and fear for the future. She looked at little Lucas, who was playing carefree with a colourful ball. His innocent laughter was a deep pain for Clara, who tried to hold back her tears. "Mommy needs to take care of some important things, my love," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. Lucas, not understanding much, just nodded. Clara found a wooden bench under a tree. "Sit here for a bit, okay?" she asked, and Lucas obeyed, still holding his ball. Clara knelt in front of him, caressing his face. "I'll be back soon, I promise," she said. But deep down, she knew it was an empty promise. She stood up quickly before she lost her courage and started to walk away. Every step was a torment, but she couldn't look back. Clara got on a bus and disappeared without a trace. As the bus drove away, tears finally streamed down her face. She wondered if Lucas would ever understand why she made that decision, or if he could forgive her. In the park, Lucas sat, watching the birds and people pass by. He waited, not knowing exactly for what, with a heartbreaking innocence. Lucas, still holding his colourful ball, sat on the park bench. The sunny afternoon slowly began to turn into dusk. He looked around, expecting to see his mother's familiar face among the hurried passers-by. But Clara didn't return. With each passing minute, Lucas's confusion grew, and tears started to roll down his cheeks. Hours passed, and the park began to empty. Some people, noticing the small boy alone and crying, approached him. A kind lady named Mrs. Marta was the first to speak to him. "Hi, sweetheart. Are you lost?" she asked, kneeling down to be at Lucas's level. He just shook his head, not fully understanding the question. Concerned, Mrs. Marta called over other people who were nearby. Soon, a small crowd had gathered around the bench. Everyone tried to console Lucas, but he could only call for his mother, not understanding why she hadn't returned. Mrs. Marta decided that the best thing to do was to call the authorities. Shortly after, 2 police officers arrived at the park. They spoke with Mrs. Marta and the others present, trying to understand the situation. "We'll take care of you, little one," one of the officers said, trying to reassure Lucas. He picked the boy up and carried him to the police car, where Lucas looked out the window, still hoping to see his mother. At the local orphanage where Lucas was taken, the caregivers did their best to comfort the boy. They gave him food, clean clothes, and a place to sleep. But that first night, Lucas cried himself to sleep, hugging his colourful ball, still not understanding why his mother had left him there. Weeks passed, and Lucas's story became known at the orphanage. The caregivers grew fond of the little boy and dedicated themselves to helping him adjust to his new reality. Despite all the affection, Lucas still felt the pain of abandonment and the absence of Clara, who seemed more and more distant. Months passed at the orphanage, and although Lucas was beginning to get used to his new routine, the sadness in his eyes was evident to everyone. The caregivers did their best to brighten his days, but nothing could replace the emptiness left by his mother. Then, on a sunny morning, something happened that would change Lucas's life forever. Anna and João, a couple who had always dreamed of having children but couldn't for medical reasons, decided to visit the orphanage. They had heard about Lucas's story and felt immediately touched. "Let's meet him," Anna said with a sparkle in her eyes. João nodded, hopeful. When Anna and João entered the orphanage's recreation room, they saw Lucas sitting in the corner, drawing with coloured pencils. He seemed oblivious to the commotion around him. Anna approached slowly and crouched down beside him. "Hi, Lucas. My name is Anna," she said softly. Lucas looked up, curious, but said nothing. João joined them, bringing a toy he had brought as a gift. "I'm João," he said with a warm smile. "We brought this for you." He handed Lucas a toy truck, and Lucas looked at the gift, then at Anna and João. His eyes filled with tears, but this time there was a spark of hope. Anna and João's visits became frequent. They spent hours playing and talking with Lucas, creating a special bond. Gradually, the little boy began to smile again. The orphanage caregivers noticed the change and knew that Anna and João would be the perfect parents for Lucas. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived. Anna and João officially adopted Lucas. They took him home, a place full of love and care. "Welcome to your new home, Lucas," Anna said, holding his hand as they walked through the door. João was beside them, carrying the bags and grinning from ear to ear. The house was cozy and full of life. Lucas had his own room, decorated with vibrant colors and toys. On that first day, he explored every corner, filled with wonder. "This is your new family, Lucas," João said, kneeling beside him. "We love you very much, and will always be here for you." Lucas looked at Anna and João, feeling a warmth in his heart that he hadn't felt in a long time. For the first time since being left in the park, he felt truly loved and safe. He smiled, a genuine smile full of hope for the future. The following months were transformative for Lucas. In his new home, he began to feel increasingly secure and loved. Anna and João were always by his side, offering affection and support in every moment. They quickly realized that Lucas had a special talent, something that started to reveal itself during the simplest moments of everyday life. One day, while Anna was preparing dinner, Lucas approached the kitchen, drawn by the delicious smell. He stood watching his adoptive mother, fascinated by what she was doing. "Can I help, Mum?" he asked shyly. Anna smiled and handed him an apron. "Of course, my love. Let's do this together." As Anna showed Lucas how to mix ingredients and prepare the meal, she noticed the curiosity and enthusiasm in his eyes. He asked questions about every step, wanting to understand how everything worked. Before long, Lucas was creating his own combinations, adding spices and ingredients in creative ways. João, watching from across the room, was impressed. "Looks like we have a little chef in the house," he joked, laughing. Lucas smiled, proud. From that day on, the kitchen became Lucas's favorite place. He spent hours beside Anna, learning new recipes and experimenting with different ingredients. Anna and João decided to support this growing passion. They bought children's cookbooks and miniature kitchen utensils, encouraging Lucas to explore and develop his skills. Gradually, he began to create dishes that surprised everyone, combining flavors in unexpected ways. Besides the kitchen, Lucas also found a special friend in their neighbor, Mr. Antonio, a retired chef who loved teaching culinary tricks and techniques. Whenever he could, Lucas visited Mr. Antonio, who shared stories and culinary secrets. "You have a rare talent, kid," he would say, proud of his young apprentice. The support from Anna and João, combined with the guidance from Mr. Antonio, allowed Lucas to blossom. He not only became a talented young chef, but also started to find confidence and happiness in every dish he prepared. The kitchen, once just a place to prepare food, became a space of creation and joy. As Lucas grew, so did his passion for cooking. Each meal he prepared was a new opportunity to learn and grow. And despite the scars of the past, he was beginning to see a bright future full of possibilities, where his love for cooking could take him places he never imagined. Years passed, and Lucas transformed from a curious little boy into a talented young man. His passion for cooking not only continued, but also deepened. Anna and João made sure to support every step of his journey, encouraging him to follow his dreams. When Lucas finished high school, he knew exactly what he wanted to do: become a professional chef. Anna and João were by his side when he applied to the most prestigious culinary school in the city. The day he received the acceptance letter was one of the happiest of his life. "You're going to be amazing, son," João said proudly. Anna hugged Lucas, tears of joy in her eyes. At culinary school, Lucas dedicated himself completely. He was one of the most committed students, always eager to learn more and improve his skills. He spent hours in the kitchen labs, experimenting with new techniques and creating innovative dishes. His instructors were impressed by his talent and determination. During this time, Lucas also worked in various restaurants to gain practical experience. He started as a kitchen assistant, but quickly stood out, earning the trust and respect of renowned chefs. In each place he worked, he absorbed knowledge and learned new culinary secrets. Despite the long hours and hard work, Lucas never lost his enthusiasm. He knew that each challenge overcome was another step closer to his dream, and that dream was about to come true. After years of study and hard work, Lucas finally graduated in culinary arts. The graduation ceremony was an emotional moment for him and his family. "You did it, my love," Anna said, pride shining in her eyes. João, holding Lucas's hand, added, "We are so proud of you." With his diploma in hand, Lucas decided it was time to take the next big step, opening his own restaurant. He knew it would be a challenge, but he was ready. With the support of Anna and João, he found a small space in the city center and began transforming it into the restaurant of his dreams. The restaurant's grand opening was a memorable event. Friends, family, and many of the chefs who had mentored Lucas over the years attended to show their support. The restaurant quickly became a success, known for the unique dishes that reflected Lucas's passion and creativity. Each dish served at the restaurant was a work of art, an expression of Lucas's love for cooking. He had not only overcome the abandonment of his childhood, but had also found a way to transform his pain into something beautiful and meaningful. His restaurant became a place where he not only cooked delicious meals, but also warmed the hearts of those who knew him. Lucas knew his journey was just beginning, but with each new challenge, he continued to grow and surpass himself. He had found his purpose, and with the support of his adoptive family and his passion for cooking, he was ready for anything the future held. As the restaurant thrived, Lucas established himself as a respected chef in the city. His creative and flavorful dishes attracted customers from all over, and he felt professionally fulfilled. Amidst the busy routine, Lucas always remembered his roots and how Anna and João had been instrumental in his journey. One day, during a busy afternoon at the restaurant, Lucas realized he needed extra help in the kitchen. The restaurant was growing rapidly, and he wanted to ensure that the quality of the dishes remained impeccable. He decided to post a job opening for a kitchen assistant. Soon, dozens of candidates applied for the position. Being meticulous, Lucas wanted to choose someone who would truly fit into the restaurant's dynamic. Among the resumes, one name caught his attention: Maria. The name wasn't uncommon, but something about the handwriting and the way the resume was written sparked an inexplicable curiosity in Lucas. The following week, Lucas began conducting interviews. When it was Maria's turn, she entered the room with an air of serenity. There was something familiar in her eyes, but Lucas couldn't quite identify what it was. "Hello, Maria. Please have a seat," he said, trying to maintain professionalism. Maria began talking about her experience in the culinary field, and Lucas was impressed with her resume. She had worked in several renowned restaurants and seemed like the perfect fit for the job. But there was something else, a strange feeling that he couldn't ignore. "Maria, can you tell me a little about yourself? Where are you from?" Lucas asked, trying to understand the reason for his curiosity. Maria hesitated for a moment before answering. "I grew up in a small town but moved here a few years ago. I've always had a passion for cooking, and that brought me here." Lucas noticed a certain sadness in her eyes when she spoke about her past. He decided to put his suspicions aside and focus on the interview. At the end, he thanked Maria and said he would be in touch soon. After the interview, Lucas couldn't stop thinking about Maria. Something about her story and her gaze intrigued him deeply. He decided to share his impressions with Anna. "Mum, I interviewed a candidate today, and there's something about her that feels familiar. I can't explain it." Anna, always attentive to her son's feelings, asked, "Do you think there might be a connection to your past?" Lucas sighed. "I don't know, but something tells me I need to find out more about her." With Anna's help, Lucas began to discreetly investigate. They looked for information about Maria, trying to find any clue that could link her story to Lucas's. The investigation led them to a small detail. Maria's full name was Maria Clara. Lucas's heart raced. He vaguely remembered his biological mother's name being Clara. It could have been just a coincidence, but the feeling of familiarity persisted. Determined to find out the truth, Lucas knew he had to confront Maria directly. He invited her for a second interview, this time with a much more personal purpose. When Maria arrived, Lucas was nervous but determined. "Maria, I need to talk to you about something important," he said, feeling the weight of responsibility in his words. Maria looked at him surprised. "Sure, Lucas. What's going on?" Lucas took a deep breath and began to tell his story, from the day he was abandoned in the park to being adopted by Anna and João. He watched every reaction of Maria, looking for signs of recognition. When he finished, there were tears in her eyes. "Lucas, I am your biological mother. My full name is Maria Clara," she said, her voice choked with emotion. A whirlwind of emotions overwhelmed Lucas: shock, confusion, and deep sadness. Maria Clara shared her side of the story, explaining the desperate reasons that led her to abandon him in the park. She had lived years of regret and pain, always hoping for a chance to make amends. Lucas, with tears in his eyes, looked at Maria Clara. "I need time to process all of this," he said. "But thank you for sharing your story." Maria Clara nodded, understanding the complexity of the moment. "I'm here. I'll always be here for you, Lucas. And I'm so sorry for everything." The journey of reconciliation between Lucas and Maria Clara was just beginning, and he knew there would be a long road ahead. But with the support of Anna and João, he was determined to face this new reality, seeking understanding, forgiveness, and a new way to build the future. After Maria Clara's revelation, Lucas needed some time to digest everything. The presence of his biological mother brought up complex emotions he hadn't anticipated. Anna and João were his safe harbor, offering unconditional support as he processed the news. Despite the initial shock, Lucas decided to give Maria Clara a chance. They began meeting regularly, always at a quiet cafe near the restaurant. The conversations were full of emotion, with Maria Clara explaining her past and Lucas sharing his life since the abandonment. Gradually, the barriers began to fall. Maria Clara spoke about Lucas's violent father, the fear and lack of options that led her to make the difficult decision to leave him in the park. Lucas, though hurt, began to understand the context behind the act. He saw sincerity in his biological mother's eyes and felt that she truly regretted what had happened. Forgiveness didn't come easily, but over time Lucas realized that holding on to resentment would only keep him tied to the past. He decided to move forward, trying to build a new relationship with Maria Clara based on understanding and hope. As time passed, Lucas and Maria Clara began to genuinely reconnect. They decided to leave the past behind and focus on the present. Maria Clara became a regular presence at the restaurant, helping Lucas and learning from him. Anna and João, always supportive, welcomed Maria Clara with open arms. The restaurant thrived even more with Lucas's renewed energy. Together, they created dishes that reflected unity and forgiveness. Lucas finally found peace by reconciling his past and present, and his life felt more complete with his new family by his side. What did you think of this story? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. God bless you, and see you next time.